Calvert Street off Colgate was originally around twice its current length. We will look at the street in three parts, firstly as far as Cross Lane, then as far as the current Inner Link Road, and then beyond, now lost under the stationery office. The street was originally Snailgate, but is believed to have been renamed after John Calvert, former sheriff of Norwich, in 1741. A house in the street records its former name, though for a while it was also known as Snackgate, possibly as a result of Dutch dialect. Let's begin with the eastern side, looking back at Colgate. This is number 1 in 1939 and in 2023, together with a 1936 photo of the northern elevation of the property. Again, looking back towards Colgate, these are numbered 3 to 5 in 1936 and have since been replaced by a car park. Opposite, on the western side, these flats are known as Low's Yard, running between Calvert Street and St George's Street, and named after the original Low's Yard, which occupied this site until demolition in 1937, the area seen here in 1938. Still on the western side, these are numbers 2 to 10, casualties of an air raid on the 5th of September 1942. The current view looks like this. Opposite, these are numbers 7 to 9, also known as Pope's Building, in 1938 and in 2023. Still on the eastern side and looking back towards Colgate, this is number 11 in 1938 with a present day equivalent view. Again in 1938 and crossing to the western side, these are numbers 16 to 18, and this is number 20, this time in 1986 and 2023. And as we head towards Cross Lane, this is number 22 in 1986 and again in the present day. Briefly into Cross Lane, this is the Rifleman pub, once used by artist John Crome, who lived locally. The pub closed in 1963 and is seen here 60 years on from closure. The building on the right of this photo is on the left of this undated photo as we return into Calvert Street, with the 2023 equivalent view looking like this. The chimney you can see is also seen in this 1936 photo and relates to a former brush factory in what is now Singer Court. Looking towards the Inner Link Road now looks like this, with everything having been replaced, but I'll try and recreate what it once looked like, beginning on the right hand side where Runnymede has replaced numbers 49 to 51 Calvert Street as seen in 1938. Next, at the current car park entrance were numbers 51 to 55, again seen in 1938. Looking across to the present day cycle track near the end of Calvert Street, we would have seen a school and a house, and looking between the posts, this is the view. I think it was a route to Doughty's Hospital. This is another view of the school, which was built in 1857 and seen here disused in 1962. This is a classroom of the school in 1910. Now, looking just into the Inner Link Road as the flyover begins, from 1810 until 1966, this was the location of the Calvert Street Methodist Chapel. Returning to the beginning of the second section and looking on the left hand side, firstly we have Singer Court. The only reason I can think of for this name would be to reflect the use of Singer sewing machines in the shoemaking trade established in the area. At the entrance to Singer Court was the Fortune of War pub, but unfortunately I've been unable to find a picture of it. As we move a little nearer to the Inner Link Road, we find in 1938 this building, although the factory of Middleton and Hovell, brush manufacturers, had ceased to exist by that time. As we look across the Inner Link Road at the stationery office, it's hard to believe that Calvert Street once continued, but that's what the rest of this video will show. From the same position, this is the 1966 view of what was left of Calvert Street. Let's have a look at some of the sites which disappeared, beginning on the right hand side. The curb that you can see turning in is the same one that you can see on this picture of number 69 Calvert Street. At the far end of Calvert Street on this right hand side was the side of the King's Arms pub dating from 1646. Returning to this point and now looking at the left hand side of Calvert Street, this was the view before demolition, the pub in the foreground being the Hope Tavern. Moving further north towards the end of the street, we see Anchor Yard behind those posts on the left, and looking out from Anchor Yard onto Calvert Street we see the posts again from the opposite direction. Nearing Botolph Street we can see the Odeon in the background, the white building being the side of the Duke of Sussex pub, seen here with the entrance to Calvert Street on the extreme left of the picture. In this picture you can just make out the curbs of the end of Calvert Street with the stationery office being built on top, and here is the current view of that part of the now defunct stationery office. For more on Calvert Street you might like to track down Tony Robinson's Museum of Us, and I have it on reasonably good authority that Calvert Street was used as a location for the TV adaptation of Jilly Cooper's Riders. If you can confirm, please add it in the comments.